It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Print United 2024. I'm sitting here with Fujifilm. We have a couple other executives here in the marketing team. I have Andrew and Mark, and we want to talk Fuji. We want to talk marketing in the United States. And I know all my friends, those dealer friends of mine, they're all concerned, or not concerned. Maybe they want to take you on. But how's your channel partnership going? How are you guys evolving that? And how do you see the market landscape, I guess, here in the United States changing with Fuji making a pretty big presence here? We know that you already do business with Xerox. They're a large distribution channel for you.
Biggest customer.
Yeah, biggest customer. And, we have dealers out there that buy millions and millions of dollars worth of competitive equipment. I'm sure Fuji sees that, but I'll throw that over to you, Andrew. But what do you think the future is for Fuji in the channel?
Well, I think it's a good question because at this trade show, typically you think, okay, printers are going to come in, implants are going to come in, and they're going to ask about the Fujifilm digital disruption platform and all that great stuff. And that's good, they do. But one of the things that Mark and I have been seeing this week is the amount of dealers that are coming in from whoever they're currently with or their mainstay with, asking, hey, how do we become a Fujifilm? So, our channel person, Yasmina Ben-Bukta, she couldn't be here today. She's on a plane. So it begins this long conversation of, we're building it out, but you don't want to go too fast or too slow. You have to pick the right ones. You don't want to go too big or too small. So it's an extremely big vetting process, as you can imagine, because the opportunity is fantastic, right? And I think when you look at the platform that we've got to offer, from big to small to workflow to automation to embellishments to inkjet to B2, right? It's like it's a lot, right? And Mark, so I handle our digital enablement side of the business. Mark's got marketing, and like when I say marketing, the whole thing. So so there's marketing play there as well, and how do we enable them? How do we train them? How do we help with billing? So it's a long conversation, but we're very, very excited to be on the journey to build out the channel.
Well, maybe, I don't know, you might be able to.
Yeah, I'd love to. I love listening to Andrew talk about the platform that we have, right? It's fantastic. For me, when you come to these shows, right, the whole goal is how do we get closer to the customer? So we've been a direct selling company for a long time, and we have great access to customers, but we all have our niches. Fujifilm has historically been a commercial print focused business, though we grew up in the plate world, we grew up in the press room, so those are the customers that we know. And that's not the reality of print today, right? Everything is morphing, everything is changing so quickly. We want to make sure that we have access to all the customers possible. And that's why we want to expand our dealer channel, right? We can only do so much with our legacy, with our core customer base, and we want to make sure we touch customers wherever they are.
Yeah, it's true, and make it easy to do business with Fujifilm, right? Because we hear with other companies, it's frankly, it's hard. So you don't want to enter a relationship and automatically it'd be hard. So that's a big one, yeah.
In the old days,
when exactly?
they might be doing that today too. But when you guys, let's just say you find the dealer, you recruit, you find your dealer. Now you're going to kind of pursue the dealer for the opportunity. Is I guess the development funds pretty strong at Fujifilm? Because when you look, I'm the financial guy. I look at all your numbers all the time, and Fuji obviously is top of the line, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you always deliver operating profit. You hardly ever make real financial bad mistakes.
Yeah.
So over the years, those development funds have kind of gotten a little bit slimmer with some of the OEMs.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason why we're profitable. Yeah. We like to think, right?
No spiff.
No, I mean, I right. So like I said, we've been selling direct for a long time, and as Andrew said, we know we want to expand the dealer channel, there's no question, but we are going to go through this process slowly, methodically. We want to make sure that we don't make mistakes along the way. So I think we are open to finding the best solution for both partners to make sure that it's profitable, that it's successful. We want to be elastic in the sort of marketing campaigns that we put together. We want to make sure that they're on brand. We want to make sure that they're touching the customers in the right way, that they achieve the goal of connecting with customers early funnel, mid funnel, end of funnel, and they have the right talking points and the right insights. And that takes dollars. There's no question.
Yeah.
And we'll put the dollars behind it, but I think we want to make sure that we do it in the right way. We're not just going to throw empty dollars, because that's what's been done for so long in the old days, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, and also be careful because the channel, if you look at the platform, you've mentioned, you've got everything there: B2, inkjet, right? All the toner-based stuff, workflow. We cannot throw that entire platform or the entire kitchen sink at them and let them do that because they can't necessarily service it, right? So
Yeah.
we're speaking about being judicious. It's an art and a science, right? We're talking about the marketing, support. Content is a really big thing, enablement, but let's just sell it all. That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna work. Eventually, I'd like to get there, but
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, if in the marketplace, you have dealers of all different sizes. Do you see any limitations on a dealer? Like, or do you expect a dealer that you take on to sell the higher end production along with the business print?
I think, yeah. So, I think because we have this gigantic portfolio, right, we would expect to see dealers want to sell everything because their customers want everything.
yeah, they
right?
look at it and they're like, well, give me that.
Yeah, we don't want to leave any of their customers stranded if they have a customer who wants something. We just need to figure out the right way to do that. And I think to Andrew's point, we're not going to throw the kitchen sink out on day one, right?
Yeah.
But we know we have products that support all aspects of print, and we want to make sure that we get those to the customers. That's the whole goal.
You guys, you have a direct footprint all over the world, obviously, and with a direct footprint, you have national, major, corporate, global accounts. Do you see where any of those accounts that you might have here in the U.S., and I'm not even sure how many you might even have here in the U.S., would those kind of be accounts that you might pass through to some partners to allow them to service and support side, like we see some of the other?
So that's a good question. So, and Mark and I are kind of tasked with looking at building on really two areas. So we've got the commercial print, we've got that, really franchise print as well as in-plant. Mark and I often kind of say wax poetic over what's best to go after that. So, I wouldn't say pass through per se. I think we'd look to see how we could best serve the in-plant, for example, and that's a community of
Sure.
like IPMA or the franchise print, but we vet that as it comes through. So it's right now, at least in the America side of the things, I can't speak to EMEA per se or Asia Pacific. We vet it kind of one thing at a time. So I don't want to give away too much more now because, like I say, if an implant comes in, they approach us with a bid, we're going to bid on it in a direct way. Currently, we're not giving those, we're not turning those over to the channel per se. Is that about?
Well, I think maybe the best way to say it would be our goal is the customer. We want to make sure that the customer is served.
Yeah.
And between Fujifilm and the partners that we sign up, we'll make sure that the customer is served.
Exactly.
We'll do it right
Yeah.
for the customer, we'll do it right for the partner.
Yeah.
Well, when you do it right, you benefit greatly.
Exactly.
When you do it wrong, you have a kind of a mess.
And at the end of the day, if that Fujifilm platform is serving that customer, whether it's via us or via the partner, and it's the right thing, that's what we're going to do. Yeah.
Can you share, and you might not be able to tell me, but can you share any successes on a new dealer coming into the portfolio?
Yeah, so we've signed up already. Marco was our first dealer that we signed up.
That's awesome.
Super excited. I mean, this is really going to catapult for us the start of a channel that we really want to make sure that we find partners who represent customer bases, who represent access to a story that we want to tell, that we need channel partners to tell. And so Marco is our first, and we're really excited.
Yeah.
When the dealer takes on Fujifilm, because I heard you say a couple of different times, we want to make sure the story's right, and make sure the communications to the end user's right. So is that part of maybe a dealer agreement with Fuji that if you're going to represent Fuji, here's kind of the rules, and here's how we want to go to market? Because a lot of the dealers are thinking, well, hey, I'm selling your stuff. You're lucky I'm selling it. Leave me alone. So, I say that callously, but these bigger dealers, a lot of these folks have their own marketing. They have their own incentives. As long as they don't do anything illegal or immoral or
Well, I've got from my, I'll let you get to your part, but from my perspective, for me, it's from a product marketing perspective, I need them to tell the story, the value proposition of the story. Like I don't want to say yes, it makes coffee, Mr. Customer. No, it doesn't. So we need to make sure that they're repping the value proposition of what it is. So that's from my end.
Right. So that starts with training, making sure that they understand the products, they understand the value prop. I think that's clear. No, without a doubt, we're going to have rules, right? But I don't think that our goal is to handcraft them, to create such a scenario that it's impossible for them to run their business.
Yeah.
I think we want to create a trusting partnership that allows them to do what they do, and we do what we do.
It becomes a punitive exercise,
Absolutely.
right? When you do that. So
nobody wants that.
No. So we hear a lot of the Ricoh, Toshiba Tech coming together, joint manufacturing. We've seen a kind of a press release and then another press release regarding Fujifilm and Konica Minolta. When I look at Fujifilm, I look at their financials, I look at their whole portfolio, and every one of their diversifications is profitable. You're obviously in a really strong position. are we going to see a Fuji? You might be able to answer me, but are we going to see a Fujifilm venture around manufacturing that might bring in a bunch of the other OEMs? I mean, because there can only be like 3 left, and I think you're going to be one of them.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I would say you know what we know. I think that at the end of the day, we are a strong manufacturer, and we will continue to be a strong manufacturer. And when you're a manufacturer, you have a different goal sometimes than your commercial. But I think we're committed to both. So we will continue to be a manufacturer, and we will continue to be commercially focused to the market.
If I'm a dealer, and this is just a question that I'm sure everybody's thinking about, so I'm going to ask it, and I'm selling one of your machines that's rebranded, am I better off to go to Fujifilm? Am I better off to buy the rebranded one? So how does a dealer kind of fit that position in his mindset?
Yeah, well, so yes, so we certainly have Rebrand Partners, and I think those partners bring to market products that are differentiated from Fujifilms, right? So they have similar technology oftentimes, but the final box is different, and the selling company is different, and the value prop and the story that we tell and the way that we support it is very different. So it's not a swap for swap, right? It really is. We would encourage anyone to find the company that they want to do business with, that they trust, that matches, that aligns with them, and that may be us, and that may be one of our partners. And I think we're happy when either one happens.
Yeah, and when it comes down to, from my perspective, is that if you're approached by a customer and you're asked to tell your story, you have to just tell it better.
Good point.
Essentially, right? And you can't get too hung up on who's doing what. But like I say, now if I ever get, people know this about me, if I ever get asked about, I need to understand what are the top 10 reasons about why we're better than the competition, I'll say, tell me your story. Tell me what you said, and then I'll give you your one pager. And you typically will get a blank look, and I'll say, okay, well, we got work to do. Step into my office. Type of thing. So, yeah.
Well, Fujifilm, they're not going anywhere. They're only growing stronger. We're sitting here with the marketing team. We'll see a lot more marketing coming into the market, I assure you. It's exciting times for the industry. We do know we have some consolidation going on. We know print's declining, business print's declining. We're looking at the displacement growth, I call it, in that production space. These customers are able to use cut sheet a lot more than they were before. Right. So there's great opportunity in that space. But I've always been cautious of that because we don't want dealers with a low operational maturity, let's just say that, running around trying to be production specialists when they're probably not. They're more suited for business specialists. And I think that'll be something that you guys will discover, that we can sign up some of these smaller dealers, give them our business products line, but they're probably not going to sell any of our production stuff. And that probably could happen. Is there anything you want to add before we end this?
No, it's been great. It's always an honor being on End of the Day with Ray. It was good seeing you as always, my friend.
It's my honor to have you guys on. I love you.
Thanks.
And this was my first time, so thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was great.
We'll get you back on, because everybody watching me knows this: status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck there, and I'll see you all tomorrow.